Hey Cannery Park followers, welcome back. We are here in Ocala, Florida at Niall Brennan's training facility owned by Niall Brennan and his wife Stephanie Brennan. If you've been following on our social media platforms, you've probably seen both Kevin and Angela giving out some more tips and tricks for some of your wagers this Saturday. We want to get you some more inside information for Breeders' Cup 2023. We're here to talk to Niall about a filly that he had in training here last year named Hard to Justify, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf. She draws post position 12 with her regular rider Flavian Pratt. Her trainer is Chad Brown. This filly is 2 for 2. She wins her debut at Saratoga, comes back and runs in the Grade 2 Miss Gorilla and wins that race too. We want to talk to Niall more about how he gets a filly from being broke to ride to the Breeders' Cup, that big stage. Let's go find Niall around here somewhere. Come on. We were able to find Niall Brennan out in his stand watching his horses train. Hard to Justify. You had her here in training last year. Can you tell us how you take a filly from a yearling to then send her off to the races to Chad Brown?
Yeah, well, we bought her in September of last year at the Keeneland sale. Originally, I'd seen her and we thought she had the frame. She's a gorgeous big filly, but she was a bit immature, a little bit backward looking. I thought maybe she was a little bit under the radar, so she was. I thought if she was, we could maybe buy her as a pinup prospect to sell at the two-year-old sales. But then the sale was so strong, I realized that we weren't going to be able to do that. She was probably, still nice enough, and she was. She ended up bringing 190,000. And we bought it from Mr. Wise. And, they come straight down from the sales then, from September Keeneland. And we let them settle in generally for a couple of weeks, just be horses again, turn them back out in the paddocks, just let them play. And then we'll start the breaking process. By the time the holidays are over, by the time we turn over into January, middle of January, we start, moving on with the program. Like they've all done their kindergarten, and we move through into first, second, third grade pretty quickly. We kind of much quicker than their human counterparts, basically. But by the time we get to middle of January and end of January, the ones that are moving forward and they're mentally and physically mature, which this filly was, she really loved training, and you could see it in her attitude. She picked up on everything quickly, and generally we get up to easy breezes then in the spring and gate work, and the ones that are handling everything really well, usually by May is when we'll start sending them out to their trainers. That's when they can take them into their program. And in this case, she went to Chad Brown, and Chad will take a lot of two-year-olds up to Saratoga at that time of year and kind of get them all into the program. Many of them move right along, and obviously some don't. They're still, two-year-olds are still developing. Some of them will take some steps backward, have some little minor injuries that need just take their time. This filly handled everything very well in the program, and and Chad really liked her, obviously, and then he ran her first time in Saratoga in August, and she won, and despite a really rough trip. So she learned a lot in her first race for a young two-year-old, because she came from back in the pack. She got stopped a couple of times, but she showed a lot of fortitude and a lot of seasoning to be able to get up and win. And then obviously, with that experience under her belt, came back and won the Miss Grillo, which was a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup. You know that they have talent above average, and but I think that there's so much in between, even May when they ship to the racetrack and the Breeders' Cup in November, first week in November. So many things can happen. We've been fortunate, blessed to have a lot of good horses through the program here, and I think I look back and you try to learn from those horses, and certainly what are the traits you see. But the really good ones have that. They're very smart. They're intelligent. They handle their training very well. They don't stress. Physically, they keep maturing. They rarely have any injuries. They just seem to be very sound, athletic individuals. And they're the ones that usually progress through the ranks. Some horses are very talented, just like human athletes, but they never actually achieve greatness for whatever reason. Maybe psychologically they can't handle it when it comes to race day, or they just have constant injuries that prevent them from being consistent. But at the end of the day, you can't replace talent.
Right. We want to thank you again for having us, and good luck with Hard to Justify. We'll all be watching here Friday. Have a great day, guys.